What do you do when life takes everything from you and you're forced to start over from nothing? Welcome to the Doing What You Know podcast. I'm Ray Thigpen. This show is about closing the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Through real conversations, lived experience, and practical insight, we focus on mindset, growth, and becoming who you were created to be. Let's get into it. Welcome to episode 14 of the Doing What You Know podcast. I'm your host, Ray Thigpen. Today I'm joined by Michael Fuller, a Texas-based illustrator, cartoonist, and caricature artist who blends creativity with a deep passion for connecting with people. Through his art and projects like Geekman's World, Michael combines pop culture, faith, and perseverance to inspire others to pursue their passions. His journey through loss, hardship, and rebuilding has shaped a powerful message about hope, resilience, and starting over. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about your background, Michael. What brought you to the space where we are, where we got together in school, and your art, and how that shapes your philosophy.
I'm actually going to take you all the way back to 2000, somewhere between 2000, I'm say 2013, 2014. Born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. Lived there for most of my life. My first wife and I moved to Georgia from Ohio in the effort to be closer to the family. I was only 30 minutes away from my mom. I couldn't be happier if I tried. I love the fact that I could just, get on the road and there she is. I get to spend time with her. And that was, so things, we used to live in an extremely small town in Georgia. For the life of me, I felt like I could not get any traction, like at all. When it came to income, when it came to just feeling stable financially, delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut was about the, only thing I could get. And they tried to, anyway. So the decision came rashly, and I'm willing to admit that. It was an extremely rash decision at the time to just go back to Columbus, Ohio. Mostly because I knew at that time, I knew Columbus like the back of my hand. I knew its culture. I knew that I've been doing call center work for a very long time, that I could probably easily find a job very quickly with the background I have, doing that. So we did not have any backup plan, like at all, none. And so we get there. Thankfully, we had a friend give us a space to land. I was sleeping on the couch for quite a long time, and someone else was home. And did try my best to, help around, and I do know how to cook. My mom, thankfully, taught me how to cook. So cook some meals to try to like lighten the load and try to not make my wife and I such a burden in someone else's house. And I did find a job fairly quickly. It's I'm not exaggerating when I say 2014 we came extremely close to being homeless. Extremely, like days away, homeless. Extended stay hotels. Anyone who's ever done that before, they know that if you do extended stay hotels, either put a lot of stuff in storage or you just reduce greatly. Like you just have very few things to carry with you. And my first wife had been battling infectious disease for the last 14 years. And so it finally it took her in 2015 in January. At that time, still have friends in Columbus, Ohio. Born there, lived there for most of my life, born and raised, and whole, as I say. But really, as I just got done illustrating my previous story, really had no family at all. in Ohio. Just really nothing left. New friend, new lady, new friend that had been in the Houston, Texas area for quite a while, for at least about 3 years, and made the agreement to give me yet again have another place to have a safe place to land. Finding myself in that situation again. This time, widowed, uh, and that's how I met my second wife. It was really not too long after that. Um, Texas for me specifically, um, my wife specifically, her family specifically, um, has been the absolute best blessing I never in a million years would have known to even ask for. Uh, you know, I am I'm in a place. I'm living a life now. I know I'm an extremely blessed man. I know for a fact. No one has to tell me. I'm an extremely blessed man. I have a roof over my head. My wife and I live in a very wonderful house. It's quite large, and those thoughts about those days of being days away from being homeless do strike me quite often, and I look around as I'm doing right now, and it's not lost on me that you know at the time I didn't see God in my life. I didn't see how He was working. I didn't understand how He was working. And I'm not saying everything always works well for Christians. They don't. It can get really challenging. Look at the life of Paul.
Yep.
He found himself in prison many times. So I'm not making that claim, but I can only attest to my own experience that my wife, her family, has been the absolute best blessing in my life.
Well, that's awesome, and I can I can relate to most of what you're saying in a very personal way because, like you, my late wife passed away at an early age from she had early onset Alzheimer's. So she passed away at the
Mhm.
age of 62. Um, During that time, my house went into foreclosure. I was keeping up my car payment to make sure I had at least a car to live in if it came to that. Fortunately, it didn't. I found a job in the industry that I was working in before I semi-retired to take care of her. Had to move back to Raleigh, North Carolina, for that job, and that's where I ultimately met my current wife. And we went on the road full time in our RV for a little over 2 years. Uh, my sister called me while we were work camping in Arizona to let me know that my dad had passed away overnight. So I flew home and, of course, to be with the funeral and help with funeral arrangements and that sort of stuff. And by the time I got home, mom was in the hospital as well. She didn't have any health problems, but she passed away 4 days later of broken heart syndrome. So my wife and I ended up moving into their house and have since established a church family. So that's kind of brought us back closer to the Lord, and that's th- yeah. So I can relate to the blessings as well. The fact that
Yeah.
we now have a bricks and mortar house and not a house on wheels and a little more stable lifestyle. Um, and now because I am retired, I've been able to get into the school communities, met people such as yourself, and get to share your stories because you're coming on to the podcast. So tell us a little bit about. There was something you mentioned um, that really brought me towards philosophy, and I don't recall now exactly what it was. Um, that's terrible
Knowing
when
me
you're
could be anything.
when the mind goes, you know.
Yeah, right.
um, So you were saying, was it was it getting into your sketching?
My drawing, my art.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that was it was your art that brought you somewhere. Can you get into that a little
Yeah,
bit?
Sure, absolutely. So, I've been like a lot. That's the most popular question I get since I'm a caricature artist. When I do caricature artwork out in the public, the most popular. Oh, how long have you been doing this? And I've got various answers. One of my favorite answers to that question is I'll say something like, "Okay, between junior high and high school, think of all the classes you took between both of those. I'm quite sure at least one class there was a kid in the back not paying attention, could care less about what's going on in the classroom, and too busy doodling like all kinds of stuff in their notebook. That was me. I was that kid, you know. And it's to this day. I mean, I'm 62, going 63, so it tells you how long ago this was. uh, it's a miracle. Like it amazes me that I actually graduated high school by the skin of my teeth. And it took a guidance counselor. It took what they used to call back then vocational school. Now they call it the career center, and a very well needed guidance counselor to kind of like set me straight and go, yeah, just get a D. Just get a D. A D is passing. By the way, D is passing. Just aim for a D, you're good. Yeah, that's the only reason why I even graduated high school. But anyway, so I've been drawing like forever, like doodling, drawing, stick. And yes, I started with stick figures. And so one of the promises I made in 2015 when I got to Texas was to just start getting more serious about my artwork. I kind of dabbled in, getting more serious about my artwork here and there, but not like, I don't know, but like serious. So this painting right back behind me with the two aliens, that's one of my first paintings like ever. It's also the first painting I ever showed in a gallery showing in Columbus, Ohio. It was a hit. Everyone loved it.
it
So
it
Columbus
looks
has,
it looks vaguely familiar.
yeah, American Gothic. It's a very American Gothic. I call it a Martian Gothic, and I found out. I don't want to get too segued here. That American Gothic is the most parodized piece of American artwork like ever, bar none.
Hmm.
There's so many parodies of it. Anywho, uh, so my first gallery showing, and then even then, that was a huge step for me. It was such a step of confidence on my part. There was a period in time in my life. There was very, very, very few, very, very little, very extremely select people who ever saw any of my artwork. I just was too afraid to share it with the open public for criticism and all that kind of stuff. And as all of us artists, we all suffer from the same thing. We are our own greatest critic. you
Hmm.
know, so anyway, I decided to get more serious about my artwork. I learned at that time, keep in 2015, learned, how Instagram, how to post on Instagram, best ways to post. I created I've created two Facebook art business pages through Facebook where I can show my artwork and, get like people to follow me. And then eventually I did start to dabble, and I definitely want to emphasize that word, like dabble, into YouTube, to just trying to record myself drawing something with my camera. And when I first started, I literally like found a way to create a shelf to hang my phone like this, so I could record my hands, drawing something.
Hmm.
And then of course speed it up, speed it up and slap some music on it, and hey, I'm doodling a unicorn, or whatever the case, UFO, whatever the case may be. And and when I got laid off from my job last year in September, that's when I decided to take my YouTube channel more seriously and really started investing more time and energy into that. Um, and The one tool that I personally use that has been a great tool, it's called vidIQ. It's a
Hmm.
great wonderful tool. Really, I learned anything and everything about posting on YouTube, good thumbnails, good titles from vidIQ.
Yep, I use vidIQ as well. I haven't really delved into it super deep. I need to go in a little deeper, actually, to be honest with you. But yeah, that is an awesome tool.
Yeah, for that, if you haven't done so, I encourage various incarnations of that. So you have the app you can put on your phone. You have the actual website you can go to on your laptop, and then you also have the web browser. Uh, Forget what that's called.
The
Uh,
extension.
Extension, yeah, absolutely,
Mhm.
because it really will. I mean, especially if you go to YouTube and you're just if you're watching YouTubes that are similar to kind of stuff that you're already creating, it'll give you lots of really great insight.
Great.
Highly,
Well,
highly recommend.
that's a good tip that I wasn't expecting today.
Yeah, highly
um,
recommend.
so, yeah, we'll go back to the question I was going to ask. Well, I remembered what it was. Now you mentioned that you had worked in a call center,
Yes.
and from a uh, personal development mindset perspective, uh, call center type of work, it can be really demanding, and you've got to have a certain personality or self image to go through that. Is that something that helped you develop more confidence later on to present maybe your artwork in the gallery format and that sort of thing, or was it related
Was
at all?
I would say part of it, yeah, yeah. So going back to me mentioning that only very select people saw my artwork at one point in my life, um, I felt I want to say the word everybody, and I feel it applies like everybody. My mom, my dad. Really not my dad. That's one of the story. Anyway, my mom, my friends, name somebody. People. Oh, you should do something with that. That's great. And people would say things like, oh, you should be working for Disney and stuff like that. And then so I don't. I to this day I have really no explanation. The only explanation I have is a very dear friend of mine. His name is Trent McCloskey, and Trent is. There's only two people in my life, and Trent is the first one where I felt like him and I literally were. It feels like we were like separated at birth. That we could literally like uh, um, finish each other's sentences. That there are times our brains are almost like completely synchronized. Not all the time, but most of the time, completely synchronized. And to the point where my first wife, when I first met Trent, I brought him over. We're just being ourselves, and I don't know how else to explain that. We're just being ourselves, and we're bouncing off each other and doing our thing. And so Trent, okay, it's time to leave. All right, goodbye. Hey, good to see you again. Hope see you again. Okay. Trent leaves. My wife, Lori, my first wife, waits about 10 minutes. She wants to make sure he's really gone. And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God, there's two of you." And that is not wrong at all. It is so true about me and Trent. But anyway, back to Trent. So Trent, he said the same thing everyone else said. He said, "Dude, seriously, man, like, do more with this and share more of this with other people, not just select people. Just you really need to do something with this." And for whatever reason, because it came from Trent, it meant more. Everyone else, I guess I had myself convinced, like, you gotta say that. Of course you're saying that. You gotta say that. You're just trying to be nice. You're just trying to
Mhm.
be friendly. You're just trying to be positive. And I wasn't really thoroughly convinced that everyone was being like straight up with me about that. Whereas where it came to Trent, I knew I could take it as gold, so to speak.
Mm.
You
That's awesome. So that shows the importance of, even though Trent wasn't maybe a mentor as such, he was definitely an advisor when it comes to that. So it definitely shows the importance of at least connection with other people that can drive you and show you what sometimes we don't see our own self-worth that other people see in us, and it takes somebody like a Trent to draw that out. So
Draw that out. And
draw that, no pun intended. Yeah.
no, absolutely, and still to this day, I still suffer from it. So I had an experience with my live caricature work where I had a client who was really upset with me, and she said she was getting complaints from some of the people. She hired me at her event. It was me and another caricature artist saying that my characters just look awful, and it really just shot the wind right out of my sails. It really did. And I've been struggling with it ever since. I really have. So I have a dear friend, and he's a fellow caricature artist. He's a friend, and I also consider him to be my caricature mentor. His name's Mac Garcia. So it's MAC, last name Garcia. You Google his name and then you Google Houston, I trust me when I say he will definitely pop up.
Yeah.
He's been doing caricature work since very early on. He worked at Astroworld as a caricature artist back in the day, and so he's got the credibility. One thing I love about I absolutely hands down love about Mac is he's always been extremely generous with his time, with his talent, with his insight, and he wants to help others be a better version of themselves constantly. So he's helped me kind of like regain my confidence in that, and I can, and as you say, do what you know. Give me a minute.
Sure.
So I wasn't doing live caricature work for quite a long time. I was only doing it through. So now I'll put myself back out there again.
Nice.
Great caricatures. Tips gladly accepted. No
Yep.
obligation. And I
Cool.
found out there's a bunch of parks not too far from me. I can set up. I gotta make extremely clear. They're free. I am not charging. If you want to give me a tip, you're welcome to do so. I can't have a tent. I can't have a table of tchotchkes or whatever else I'm trying to sell, which I wouldn't imagine to do anyway. But as long as I'm doing that, I'm out of the way. I'm not interfering. I'm not blocking from people from going through the park. I'm not considered a nuisance in any way, shape, or form. I
Mhm.
can set up and I can do this. And I can
Nice.
put free caricatures. If you want to give me a tip, you're more welcome to do so. I've not gotten to that place yet where I'm actually doing it, but that's preparation right there. That's
Yep.
preparation so I can. And I've got so I do volunteer. My wife's a hospice nurse. I do volunteer with her hospice company. And so I'm going to be drawing caricatures at a facility they have patients at during for St. Patrick's Day.
Cool.
And that's me getting my feet wet again.
So it sounds like then Mac definitely is the mentor that's drawing. Here I go with that pun again. That's bringing the best out in you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
I highly recommend anybody watching this. I'm quite sure you'll post this later. Or I'll make sure I find the link and then I'll post it. But yeah, definitely look him up. He's the real deal. He's I yeah. He's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, I think that's what our mentors should always be for us, is somebody that we look up to that epitomizes what we want to be. So yeah, that's good. Um, wow, time is flying. We got about 5 minutes left, Michael. Let's talk a little bit about our school communities, yours in particular. If you want to tell us the link. Again, we're not just on video, we're also on audio formats like iHeart and iTunes and Amazon Music. So you might want to verbalize the link to your school community.
Sure.
Um, but tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your school community, why it came about, and what you're offering.
Sure. I'll tell you what, give me a couple moments.
Sure.
And all right.
Avoid
So
unscripted podcasts, as it just puts you on the spot.
no, you're fine. So it's school.com backslash passion dash project dash 6423.
Okay.
And that's my web address for my community.
So Passion
And
Project is the name of your school community?
where it got started was so on occasion, and I will, and I'm the one who decides, no one else. Because a lot of times it has been friends, it has been family. Sometimes it has been family members. Just randomly, I'll say, you know what? Let me go ahead and create something cool for you. And I don't want to charge you anything for it in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to charge you shipping. I don't want to charge you. I want to do this as a gift of my time and my talent. And it's always been the number one thing on my list of, like, if you know, one of the ways I can show you, not that I like you as a friend. I adore you, and the way I adore you, that I value you greatly, is I want to make something for you,
Hmm.
and I don't want to charge anything for it. So I started to call them passion projects,
Nice.
and that's really kind of the genesis of that kind of came from. I have created portraits for people who, like their dad, like a gentleman, his dad passed away. I offered. I said, yeah, and I was still, anyway, I offered. I said, I would love to create a portrait for you, for your dad, and do the best job I possibly can. He still has it to this very day. He still just greatly adores it and values it such greatly. And that's, to me, that's what it's about. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. I can clock out of this life, my and feel good that I made an impact on someone else. I've created lots of portraits for people who the family members have passed away. I've created portraits for pets who've crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. Again, for friends that, because I know, coming from my own grief, my first wife passing away, I understand grief is just a terrible thing. It really is.
Yeah.
So if my small little contribution can give you some small solace of some kind, again, stick a fork in me. I'm done. I don't need anything else in my life, and that's how I've always felt about it. So, but once I created the community, I kind of thought better of just me, like, hey, this is my new thing. I've done this, and check this out, because I wanted to be a community, and I still do. So I made it. Yeah, I tried to make it very clear. I tried to create separate categories. Okay, this is where Mike's art corner. This is my artwork, and so anything that's art by Mike eccentric, I've posted there. But also try to get some discussion going in, like the general discussion, stuff like that, and try to create some conversation going, and just a good community thread
Hmm.
about, and the way I always look at it is, hey, if you're passionate about the eggs you ate this morning, let's talk about that.
Right.
If you're passionate about something that was great that happened, you heard a good story, you have a great story, you had a wonderful experience, you had a wonderful day, you love your grandkids, you love your dog, your cat. Let's talk about that, because that's something you're passionate about.
Right.
And so I wanted to, like, make sure I'm doing anything I can to let everyone that's part of my community know this is for all of us. It's not just me showing off my artwork, although I do. It's for all of us.
Nice. Nice. So that's Passion Project on
Passion
school.
project.
And then
Yes.
that school is SKOOL. Awesome. I'll
Yeah.
also link that down into the description for YouTube and Spotify. Um, well, Mike, that just about takes us to the end of the show. Is there any closing remarks that you want to get in before we wrap up?
Uh, no, not really.
Okay, great. It's been great. I love your artwork in the background. I love the
Thank you.
story. Um, again, the connection that we've made. It's amazing how much we actually have in common, having not even spoken more than probably 10 or 15 minutes before the show. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing with the audience. And I'm
I
looking
appreciate you
forward
having
to,
me on, Ray.
yeah, looking forward to working with you some more and seeing some more of your stuff in school. Well, before I let you go, are you offering any courses inside your school community for how to draw?
As of right now, no, but I am in a development process.
Oh,
Yep. I definitely
awesome.
want to put that together. Yes.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Michael. It's been, again, it's been great. And we will see you on Inside School.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right. Thanks. Growth happens when knowledge turns into action. If you're ready to keep that work going, join us inside the Doing What You Know community at doingwhatyouknow.com/team. Thanks for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep doing what you know.